This is the News 4 Rundown.
It is frigid across the region tonight, but cold temperatures aren't the only thing we're tracking. Thanks so much for joining us for the News 4 Rundown. I'm Mauricio Casillas. We're also keeping an eye on a winter storm that's heading our way that could bring some significant snow over the weekend. We have time, though, to get you ready for what's coming our way. That's why we want to get straight to Storm Team 4 meteorologist Doug Kammerer. Doug, first things first, it is just plain cold out there.
Yeah, going to continue to be. I mean, many areas today did not reach freezing. In the city, we hit 34 degrees, but most of you stayed in the 20s during the day, especially north and west of D.C. Out there right now, we've still got the flag blowing in the wind at least a little bit here, and that wind is making things feel even colder. Temperature-wise, we're now at 30 degrees in the city, actually 32 in the city, 20 degrees in Hagerstown, 32 Richmond, 10 in State College. Very cold air all across the mid-Atlantic, and look at these wind chills. Hagerstown coming in at 12 degrees, D.C. at 24, and not a good beach day in Ocean City. Wind chill of 21 degrees. Now, there's nothing in our area right now. We don't have any rain or snow coming our way tonight or tomorrow. We have a storm system back to the west. This is a small storm that's going to work its way our way tomorrow and actually help to warm things a little bit. Tomorrow will be slightly warmer than today. Thursday is looking like a very nice day. Sunshine, temperatures I've got in the low 50s for most of us. And then we get to Friday. Tracking our storm system that's going to work its way across the country. Look at the snow, the ice, the rain. For us, this will be most likely be an all snow event for us. But look at the ice down to the south. Very worried now about a significant, potentially historic ice storm down and around areas like Dallas, down towards the Atlanta area, in towards parts of South Carolina and North Carolina. For us, though, this is all about the snow, and it looks like this could potentially be the biggest storm we've seen since 2016, the biggest storm we've seen in 10 years around our area. So, you know, I'm going to be watching this very closely coming up in the next couple of minutes here. Another cold night tonight, warming next few days. And again, tomorrow's fine, still chilly, but fine. Thursday looks great. Tracking weekend snow, and we're also tracking much colder air, the coldest air of the winter. I've said that a couple of times now. Last night was one of the colder nights we've seen, but this weekend and into next week, we get much colder. We'll talk about all of that. I've got it for you coming up in just a little bit. Mauricio?
All right, Doug, thanks so much. Looking forward to that. As President Trump marks the first year of his second term in office today, protesters from coast to coast voiced their opposition to his immigration crackdown. According to the Washington Post, the administration is planning to convert warehouses into large-scale detention centers in states across the country. 2 of those centers could be coming to our area. According to the Post, one of the largest facilities is planned for Stafford County, Virginia, and a second in Washington County, Maryland, near Hagerstown. Today, lawmakers and concerned citizens held a rally in Hagerstown opposing what they call an ICE jail in Washington County. All new tonight, News 4's Joseph Olmo was there and has details on their message.
Check this out. People honking their horns. We are in downtown Hagerstown tonight, right in the middle of the city square, and car after car honking. A lot of people supporting the message of the protesters here, who say they do not want a planned ICE facility coming to Hagerstown. So back in November, NBC News reported that ICE was considering buying large warehouses to hold immigrants before they are deported. The Washington Post then came out in December and listed Hagerstown, Maryland as one of the possible sites. Why? Well, ICE officials have previously told NBC that warehouses would increase efficiency in deportations. Now, even though a decision hasn't been finalized, that didn't stop Maryland Senator Chris Van Hollen and Congresswoman April McClain Delaney from joining a protest in Hagerstown today. What do you know about the plans? Because right now it just seems like reported plans based off of documents that Washington Post, NBC News has reviewed. What do you know about the plans to build an ICE facility here in Hagerstown? And it seems like there's going to be multiple warehouses across the country. What do you know?
Well, we don't know. We're asking ICE for answers. In fact, just today, Senator Alsterbrooks and Congresswoman Delaney and I sent the Secretary of Homeland Security a letter asking her about what their plans are. What are they planning here?
Now, News 4 asked ICE about these plans. Here's part of what they said, quote, "It should not come as news that ICE will be making arrests in states across the U.S. and is actively working to expand detention space. ICE is targeting the worst of the worst, including murderers, rapists, criminals, gang members, and more. We have no new detention centers to announce at this time." Another protest against ICE here in the DMV as the debate over immigration continues. I'm Joseph Olmo, News 4.
Joseph, thanks so much. Officials with the city of Hagerstown sent a statement to our sister station in Baltimore. They said the proposed location for an ICE detention center is not within the city of Hagerstown, and the location falls under the jurisdiction with Washington County. News 4 reached out to Washington County officials who tell us the county does not comment on actions being taken by the U.S. government and the Department of Homeland Security. Meantime, farther down south 270 in Montgomery County, today council members laid out plans to set some limits and guidelines for ICE enforcement. They introduced the Unmasked ICE Act. If passed, it would prohibit federal, state, or local law enforcement agencies from wearing masks or facial coverings while on duty in Montgomery County. A second bill called the County Values Act would restrict ICE access to non-public areas of county facilities. The bill also requires signage for county-controlled and county-owned property. Montgomery County council members say the two bills are an effort to maintain trust and strengthen community safety.
They make clear that we don't want ICE operating in our community. We don't want them in our public spaces, and we don't want them to be masked and hiding their identity.
The council still has to vote on the bills. Each of them needs 6 votes to pass. The Au Pair Affair double murder trial has wrapped for the day. Brendan Banfield is accused of masterminding an elaborate plot to kill his wife Christine and another man in their home. Before the prosecution rested today, they called Christine's father to the stand. News 4's Drew Wilder spoke to our legal analyst about his testimony.
He never once said he missed his daughter, that he was sad about her death, never talked about her being a mother. There was nothing emotional, nothing that spoke to Christine's character. Did that leave you scratching your head as much as it left me doing that?
Yeah, this was, I think, a missed opportunity for the prosecutors to take advantage of the opportunity to humanize Christine Banfield, under both theories, prosecution as well as defense, was murdered either by Mr. Ryan or by Mr. Banfield. And this was the perfect opportunity for the jury to really understand and empathize about this loss.
It really leaves you wondering what's not being said about maybe the personal lives here, the family relationships. We don't know anything about that, so we won't get into that. What we do know is that the Commonwealth has rested its case, and we did not hear from a single detective in the homicide unit. I don't know that I've ever covered a trial that's been the case. What does that say to you, if anything?
You know, I can't think of any homicide trial that I've ever tried where I didn't call the affiant or the lead homicide detective. I can't even think, to your point, Drew, of any case that I've ever watched where the lead affiant or lead homicide detective was left off the stand. What I believe is it really dovetails into the defense's overall narrative throughout this entire trial, that there was so much turmoil within the detectives bureau, and the turmoil is because the leaders in charge wanted to point the finger at Mr. Banfield. And what the failure of the prosecutor to call the lead homicide detective is just more evidence into the defendant's narrative, which is they didn't call a lead detective because potentially any potential lead detective would have pointed the finger elsewhere, creating that reasonable doubt. Because really, the defense only needs one juror.
And that was Drew Wilder reporting. Meantime, it will not be a quick fix to stop this massive sewage overflow near the Clara Barton Parkway in Montgomery County. Sewage started spilling out of the Potomac Interceptor sewer line late last night and into the C&O Canal National Historic Park. A Chopper 4 flew over the Potomac earlier today. You can see the discoloration in the water appeared to be showing where wastewater meets river water. News 4's Darcy Spencer spent the day working to learn more about the repairs. She has what you need to know if you live near the site.
A line break is causing sewage to gush into the C&O Canal just off the Clara Barton Parkway in Montgomery County, creating a smelly mess. And some traffic impacts. One inbound lane is closed and lined with work trucks as crews prepare to assess the damage and do the repairs. The break is in the Potomac Interceptor sewer line in the C&O Canal Historical Park. Officials say there is no danger to drinking water. That's a separate system. Mac Thornton is with the Cabin John Citizens Association.
This is a little shocking to come out. We're right next to the Clara Barton Parkway, and there are these two places where the water is just bubbling out of the ground. I don't mean like little bubbles. I mean, this is a lot of water.
Crews will need to get down to the broken line to figure out what caused it and stop the overflow.
Our plan is to create a bypass where we will be able to bypass a little bit further upstream, use the C&O Canal, which is dry right now in this area, for storage, and then pump it back into the system a little further downstream.
The line carries about 60 million gallons of sewage from Fairfax and Loudoun counties daily, and it eventually ends up at the Blue Plains Treatment Facility in D.C. The canal towpath remains open, but D.C. water officials are warning residents not to come into contact with the water to avoid getting sick. Kevin Kearney is a longtime resident of Cabin John.
If you've been living close to the canal all this time, you'll have seen breaches and overflows and bottoms go out, whirlpools in them. You know that it's vulnerable all the time. It's just going to keep going. It's not something that's not hard to fix. They're going to fix it.
Some are concerned about the environment and the impact on the Potomac.
Should this really have happened, and what went wrong? That's the question. And let's get it stopped immediately to protect the river.
This is what the neighbor was talking about in terms of it bubbling over. Now, that bypass system DC Water was talking about is going to take a few days. No word on how long it's going to take to repair that sewer line. And until then, this is going to continue to be a smelly situation. Reporting along the Clara Barton Parkway, Darcy Spencer, News 4.
DC Water says the line that broke is more than 60 years old. It says there are routine inspections of those lines, but there are vulnerabilities due to aging infrastructure. All right, so to come tonight on the News 4 Rundown, a new warning for drivers. Traffic safety officials are cautioning used car owners about replacement airbags that might be in their cars. It says certain airbags are not keeping people safe. Plus, it is cold outside, and with temperatures continuing to fall, our bills could get more expensive as we crank up the heat. News 4 is working with you with some tips on how to bring down those costs. Doug.
Yeah, you talk about the cold, and we've got a lot more cold coming. The coldest air of the year making its way out of the Arctic into our area as we make our way towards the weekend. That coincides with the storm system that will bring us snow. We'll talk about it all. I'll break it down for you coming up.
We're back now tonight with an urgent warning from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration about potentially deadly replacement airbags showing up in used cars across the country. Federal officials say 8 drivers died in crashes they likely would have survived. Consumer reporter Susan Hogan spoke with the NHTSA administrator about what every used car owner needs to check right now.
This warning isn't just for used car shoppers. It's for anyone driving a used vehicle, especially one that's been in a crash before. Federal investigators say 8 drivers have been killed, 2 others seriously injured, not by the crash itself, but by the airbag meant to save them.
So what's happening, though, is that these are substandard inflators, and when they're in a crash, even a minor crash, they're deploying and overpressuring and shooting shrapnel to the face and chest of consumers, or of the drivers.
The Chinese manufacturer linked to these airbags, known as DTN, even says on its own website its products are not allowed to be sold in the United States. Yet investigators say these airbags are ending up in American cars most often after a previous crash, when the original airbag gets replaced with a cheap, illegal part.
Somehow these inflators are being imported into the United States, and they're being attached to airbag modules, which are being sold, we think, through online marketplaces.
According to NHTSA, all known deaths involved Chevy Malibus and Hyundai Sonatas with salvage or rebuilt titles. But officials warn this may not be limited to just those vehicles. And here's what makes this so dangerous. Drivers often have no idea what airbag's inside their car until it's too late.
There's nothing worse than a piece of equipment that's designed to save your life in serious crashes, deploying and potentially killing you in minor crashes that you should walk away from.
NHTSA says if your car was ever in a crash where airbags were deployed, especially if it has a salvage or rebuilt title, get it checked now. If a DTN airbag's found, don't drive the car until the airbag's replaced with one that meets U.S. safety standards. You can report suspected illegal airbags to NHTSA, and the agency urges buyers to get a vehicle history report before purchasing any used car. News 4 reached out to the Chinese company for comment. We haven't heard back from them yet. Now, this is one of the most urgent vehicle safety warnings we've seen in years, and it really could affect families who think they're driving a perfectly safe car. If you're buying a used car, experts say never skip that safety check. Back to you.
Life-saving information. Susan, thanks so much. Well, with the cold snap we're seeing this winter, your energy bill is likely going to go up. News 4 is working for you with some tips on how to bring down those costs. Turning down the thermostat will be your best friend. Each degree you can turn it down can save you about 1 to 3% on your energy bill. When you're gone during the day, energy companies say you should set your thermostat even lower by about 10 to 15 degrees for maximum savings. You also want to make sure you're inspecting all the openings in your home.
Check your windows, check your doors. If you feel a draft coming in, seal it. Stop that cold air from coming inside your house. That's going to turn that HVAC system on. During the day, if the sunshine comes through, open up your curtains, open up your blinds, let the sunshine come in. That'll help heat your home.
You can also see if your energy company offers something called a high usage alert. Pepco has this feature. It tells you when your energy usage is abnormally high compared to the same period last year and which times of day you typically use the most energy. So that takes us to Storm Team 4 meteorologist Doug Kammerer, who is, as you mentioned, tracking some of the coldest air so far this winter. So give us something that'll warm up our hearts, Doug, please.
If you like snow, I mean, you got that. I'll tell you what, Thursday is actually looking like a really nice day. If you want a warmer day, Thursday is actually looking pretty good. I actually told somebody today, play golf on Thursday.
Still go out there.
Sunshine, 53 degrees. That's a nice day. But then the Arctic air starts to move in again on Friday and then into the weekend. And, of course, then we're talking about our snowstorm. Out there right now, we've got a cold night. Notice not a lot of wind, but every time the wind does blow, it just kind of blows through you with this kind of cold. Temperature of 32. Look at that wind chill down to 24 degrees. Area-wide temperatures down to 21 in Frederick, 18 Winchester, 17 in Culpeper. It is going to be a very cold night tonight. Notice the wind chill down to 16 in Manassas. We're down to 9 in Martinsburg and 16 in Clinton, Maryland. So once again, if you're going to be out and about, make sure you bundle up, and that stands for those of us waking up early tomorrow morning, too. Nothing on the radar. We're dry. We're going to stay dry through the week, the rest of this week, right on through the day on Friday, and probably stay dry almost all of Saturday until our storm begins to move our way. Right now, not much in the way of storms going on. You can see the snow coming down through parts of the Dakotas around areas like Minneapolis. This is a storm that's actually working its way our way and will actually help to warm things tomorrow and Thursday. Out ahead of that storm, we do get a little bit warmer, and that's why Thursday is going to be nice. Behind it, though, this is where the Arctic air is, and the Arctic air is starting to work its way in. So we've got the cold and the high pressure over us right now. That'll move off the coast, and then here comes that next storm, bringing in the cold air. A big area of high pressure. This is Arctic air, the coldest air of the season, making its way down across portions of the middle part of the country. At the same time, we see a lot of moisture coming out of the Pacific. We have not had an active southern branch of the jet stream due to the fact that we've been in a La Nina. So this is not something we've seen so far this year, but it's starting to get more active. We've got the cold air. Now we've got the moisture and a storm that makes its way in towards areas like Texas, Oklahoma, and Kansas. Snow to the north, ice to the south. And when I talk about ice, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of news about the ice storm that occurs from the coast into the Carolinas through Atlanta, all the way over towards areas around Dallas. Dallas could see significant icing, and once again, we could be talking about thousands without power because this ice storm could be historic. We're going to be watching this very closely. Now, for us, there's really no chance of any ice or any rain. This, for us, looks like all snow. The area of low pressure is going to be just off the coast, and this means all snow for us and very cold air that will make its way on in here. So what are we looking at with this? Well, let's take a look at the European model. This is just one model, but so many of the models are hinting at this. Look at these totals. Upwards of 10 to 18 inches, 14 in the city. Could that actually happen? The answer is yes. Now, this is not my official forecast. I'll have my official forecast for you coming up on Thursday. We will see things change a little bit over the next couple of days. But I put this out there because so many of you are already seeing this on social media. So many people are posting things. You're also seeing it on your social media. So I didn't want to not show you what was going on because you're already seeing it. I want to put some context behind it. A storm is moving our way. Plenty of cold air with the system. Snow is likely, but still too early to say how much. I do expect a significant storm, though. Look at Thursday. There's that 53 degrees, and then here comes the Arctic air. A high of only 20 on Saturday, 21 with snow on Sunday, heavy snow at that. Monday and Tuesday staying on the frigid side. And notice that all the way through next week, we stay below freezing. So that means the snow is going to stick around the entirety of next week. And as I said a little bit earlier tonight in the shows around 6 o'clock, that kind of cold, staying below freezing that long, that's when you start to see the ice on the Potomac River. You start to see the ice in all the lakes and the creeks and ponds. So this is something that we're going to be watching for the next week or so. But we're really moving into a very much a deep freeze coming our way.
Frigid temperatures. Yeah. All right, Doug, thanks so much.
Yep.
We'll be right back. Stay with us. We are just 17 days away from the 2026 Olympics in Milan Cortina. Athletes from around the world will be there, including the world's top curlers going for gold. Today, the Potomac Curling Club invited News 4 to get a closer look at the sport at the Gardens Ice House in Laurel. The U.S. has secured spots at the Olympics for its men's, women's, and mixed doubles curling teams. Curling actually debuted at the inaugural Winter Olympics back in 1924 in France. A speed skater with local ties is also heading to Milan and hoping to bring back some Olympic gold. Cameron Lute calls her Olympic berth a full circle moment. Jumi Olabanji has more on her journey to the Winter Games.
Yeah, it's been 16 years in the making, so it still hasn't quite sunk in yet.
As a 5-year-old growing up in D.C., Cameron Lute watched the 2010 Vancouver Olympics with her parents and was drawn to the speed skaters. She knew she had to try it out for herself.
So I've been training 6 days a week pretty much since I started skating when I was 5.
Now, 16 years after picking up those skates, she's accomplished why she wanted to skate in the first place.
Cameron Lute!
Making the Olympic team at just 21 years old. Lute attended Washington International School and is currently enrolled at the University of Utah, a short drive from her training rink in Salt Lake City. Getting ready for Milan Cortina means skating 6 days a week with added weight training, biking, and cardio. Adding to her Olympic excitement is the fact that her friend and fellow DMV native Brandon Kim was also announced to the Olympic short track team, along with DC native Connor McDermott Stowey, who made the long track squad.
I mean, I think we all in that area and like the DMV trained super hard from the time we began. It's kind of cool that even though we all came out here at different times, like we remember what we went through when we were younger, and we've all made it this far and continued skating for this long.
In Milan, Lute will hit the ice in the women's 1,500-meter race and the relay race. Her goal is to finish strong and hopefully win a medal, maybe even 2.
Oh my goodness. I mean, that would be insane. Yeah, I mean, I think it's already so crazy as it is to just be going, and then winning a medal feels like another universe.
And that was Jumi Olabanji reporting. A reminder that she will be reporting for us at the Milan Cortina Winter Olympic Games. That's going to do it for us for the News 4 Rundown on this Tuesday night. Be sure to stick around, though, for News 4 at 11. For now, I'm Mauricio Casillas. Have a great night, everyone.